The last time Kev Townsend surprised Robert Sugden, Aaron Dingle nearly ended up seriously injured by a sword. So what unexpected drama does the unpredictable troublemaker have planned for Emmerdale's most chaotic couple now? Just when Robron had finally reunited and life seemed perfect again, Robert's happy ending was thrown into turmoil by the arrival of his prison husband, the wildly unpredictable Kev. Kev is a fascinating character. One moment he's enjoying a quiet cup of tea, and the next he's carrying out robberies. He's essentially Emmerdale's version of Trainspotting's Begbie, explosive, emotionally damaged, and dangerously unstable. While in prison, Robert formed a close bond with Kev, likely seeing him as protection behind bars. However, Kev appeared to view their connection as a great romance, and was furious to discover that Robert already had a partner waiting for him outside prison. In response, Kev pretended to be seriously ill in hopes of drawing Robert back out of sympathy. Knowing how dangerous Kev could be, Robert went along with the deception while secretly trying to uncover the location of money stolen during Kev's last robbery. Unfortunately, Robert's performance became so convincing that Aaron began to grow concerned. Even Kev eventually realized where Robert's true feelings lay. After a dramatic confrontation involving a sword, Kev left the village heartbroken. He briefly returned at Christmas after being kidnapped by John Sugden, a man arguably even more unstable than Kev himself. Robert's attempt to frame Kev for his own supposed murder failed spectacularly when Kev escaped and disappeared. Given everything that has happened between them, it's no surprise that Kev's return leaves Robert extremely uneasy. Thankfully for Robert, Kev currently has more important matters on his mind. Kev has returned to the village with two goals: to launch his new cake and coffee business, a Slice of Kev-en, and to reconnect with his long-lost son, Lewis. Viewers already know that Kev wants to build a relationship with Lewis. During conversations with Liam at the cafe, Kev revealed that he once had a brief relationship with a woman named Emma, who later placed their child for adoption. Only Nicola King knows the entire story, and she previously gave Kev a strict choice: tell Lewis the truth or leave Emmerdale for good. Believing Lewis deserved better than a criminal father, Kev initially decided to leave. Therefore, Nicola is unlikely to be pleased when she discovers that Kev has returned. Robert may feel exactly the same. Considering all the trouble Kev has caused, including attacking Aaron with a sword, Robert would be expected to avoid him entirely. However, events take an unexpected turn when Robert is delighted to see Kev again after receiving a surprising proposal. Upon returning to the Dales, Kev is warmly welcomed by his former housemate Claudette Anderson and her son Claude. During their conversation, Kev admits that his son Lewis currently wants nothing to do with him. When Kev considers leaving once again, Claudette encourages him not to give up. She insists that he deserves a chance with his family and urges him to continue trying to reconnect with Lewis. Inspired by her support, Kev later approaches Robert and suggests they finally proceed with their divorce. This would allow Robert and Aaron to marry officially, news that Robert is thrilled to hear. However, problems soon arise when Nicola catches Kev using the cafe toilets to fill a bucket for cleaning his trailer. Determined to protect the village from further chaos, Nicola becomes more committed than ever to forcing Kev out. The question remains, will Nicola succeed in driving Kev away before Robert can persuade him to sign the crucial divorce papers? Emmerdale fans are preparing for a major mystery after spoilers revealed that a character's fate could soon be sealed. Very little has been disclosed about the storyline so far, except that viewers will be shown a flash-forward scene. The sequence will take audiences to a crime scene where, for a split second, the identity of the victim is revealed in a photograph. However, the extent of the victim's injuries remains unknown. Will they survive long enough to expose their attacker? Or will help arrive too late? Let's examine the characters who may find themselves in serious danger. One obvious candidate is Houghton General's notorious doctor, Caitlin Todd. And the list of possible suspects only grows longer following Todd's horrific assault on Charity Dingle. Charity's husband Mackenzie, her cousin Kane, Vanessa Woodfield, and much of the Dingle family would all have reason to seek revenge once the truth emerges. Soap villains rarely escape consequences forever. With Todd's downfall seemingly approaching, the question remains whether she will face legal justice or something far more sinister. Another character who could be in danger is Vinnie Dingle, Mandy's beloved son in All But Blood. Although Vinnie's biological parents are Tina Dingle and Paul Ashford, Mandy raised him as her own and has always treated him like family. Vinnie only learned the truth about his parentage after arriving in Emmerdale, leading to a dramatic chain of secrets, betrayals, and eventually Paul's death in a devastating explosion. More recently, Vinnie embarked on a personal journey after realizing his feelings extended beyond friendship. At the time, he was involved with Gabby Thomas, and the pair eventually married. The bright spot in Vinnie's life arrived in the form of Lewis Barton, another young man discovering love for the first time. Their friendship quickly blossomed into a heartwarming romance. Sadly, happiness may not last. Reports suggest that Vinnie will leave the village later this year. Exactly how his departure unfolds remains unclear, but Lewis's long-lost father, Kev Townsend, could play a significant role. Kev's return has already brought turmoil to the village. What was supposed to be a spontaneous holiday to Madeira ended in disaster when Lewis was abducted by a masked individual and forced into a van before he could even leave. The kidnapping was orchestrated by Kylie, a mysterious figure from Kev's past who refuses to release Lewis until Kev returns someone known as Penny. If Kylie is capable of abduction, it's entirely possible she could resort to even more extreme actions. This raises fears that Vinnie could become an innocent victim of the chaos surrounding Kev. Elsewhere, Dawn Taylor may also find herself at risk after secretly plotting against Joe Tate. For weeks, Dawn pretended everything was perfect, while secretly working with Moira Dingle to destroy Joe's life and leave with their unborn child after learning the full extent of his ruthless behavior. Joe had previously framed Moira by manipulating Robert Sugden into planting false identification documents, all as part of his plan to seize Butler's farm. Appalled by Joe's actions, Dawn joined forces with Moira, determined to bring him down while maintaining appearances. Unfortunately for Dawn, Joe eventually uncovered the scheme. When Graham Foster later discovered Dawn unconscious at the bottom of the stairs, many feared the worst. However, doctors later confirmed that Dawn had simply collapsed due to an iron deficiency. Surprisingly, Joe was innocent on this occasion. Rather than retaliate, Joe has spent recent weeks attempting to prove he can become the man Dawn deserves and convince her to stay. Yet, when Joe and Graham discussed putting an end to Dawn's plans permanently, their conversation sounded far from reassuring. With Dawn expected to depart the soap later this year, speculation continues that her future could take a tragic turn. Finally, there is Jimmy King. As the last surviving King brother, Jimmy has largely avoided major drama in recent years and now enjoys a relatively peaceful family life with Nicola. Sadly, that peace may soon come to an end. Reports suggest that Jimmy will leave the village this autumn as part of an explosive storyline, but the circumstances surrounding his departure remain a mystery. One possibility is that Jimmy becomes entangled in Kev's chaotic storyline, especially since Nicola knows the truth about Lewis's parentage and is determined to keep Kev away. Another possibility involves Sadie King. The fiery former resident is set to return later this year for a dramatic reunion with Jimmy, and unresolved tensions still linger between them. Years ago, Sadie's schemes were publicly exposed after Charity Dingle revealed evidence of her manipulations to the entire King family. Sadie eventually left the village after being betrayed by Kane Dingle during a ransom money plot. She has also previously attempted to silence Jimmy by attacking him during the fallout from the collapse of the King's show home project. Since Jimmy's exit and death have reportedly already been confirmed, many viewers believe he is the most likely victim. However, because Jimmy is not expected to leave until autumn, the mystery remains. Will the flash forward jump several months into the future? Or could another villager be the true victim after all? Emmerdale is broadcast every weekday at 8 p.m. on ITV1, with episodes also available to stream on ITVX.